Uh, Hello, welcome to History is Mystery. Today we'll be discussing a topic on the social impact of the British rule in India. We have taken the topic of sati today so that you get an idea of how to write answers when it comes to the social implications of the British Raj is concerned. So today our topic is sati. I framed a question. Normally UPSC is not asking direct questions nowadays. They're framing huge sentences, huge statements, and you have to answer based on your understanding of the statement. So first of all, you have to understand what is the tone of the question. आज जो statement दिया हुआ है इसका tone को समझना होगा. Then only you will be able to understand कि what is the purpose of asking this question. इसका background क्या है, इसका purpose क्या है, whether you were to analyze it critically, whether you have to include the limitations or not. Once you understand the question, then only you will be able to write. So let's start. New intellectual stirrings created a reform mentality that did not reject Indian tradition, but sought to change certain unreasonable aspects of Hindu society, which did not conform to their new rationalist image of a glorious Indian past. With respect to the Bengal Sati Regulation Act 1829, critically analyze the above statement. So, we study this Bengal Renaissance with the coming of the English education and with the enforcement of certain legislatures like the abolition of sati, the introduction of widow remarriage, like the suppression of thagi and abolition of human sacrifice, ban on human sacrifice. All these were nothing but the interface between the colonial government and the Indian society. So इसके ऊपर आपको आंसर लिखना है. Mind the tail word critically analyze. So you have to analyze it critically in the sense कि इसका limitations को भी include करना है आपको. But I'll be teaching you something completely new. The dimension that I will take in this answer will be something quite off the track. Normally जो answer लिखते हैं, I think I'll not be taking that route in this answer. So let's start. First of all, आपको define करना पड़ेगा कि sati, what is sati? So normally it is a upwardly mobile middle and lower caste practice. The practice of upper caste Hindu wives burning themselves on the funeral pyre of their husband. So basically आपको पता है normally ये upper caste Hindu wives जो होते थे, they used to jump on the funeral pyre of their husband. ये why did they do so? The motive, इसका motive को भी आपको पहचानना होगा. The motive was first of all a religious notion of an ideal wife. This is a perfectly ideal wife who would follow her husband even to the funeral pyre. ये a religious notion हो गया. What is the social notion? Social implication इसका क्या है? कि when the British rule was at its peak, say 19th century, early or late 19th century, we'll find a upwardly mobile middle and lower caste who was trying to rise up the ladder. They did enjoy economic prosperity, but as far as social prestige was concerned, they were trying to consolidate. Economic prosperity to ho gaya, but what about our social prestige? So they tried to emulate, copy करना start कर दिया उन्होंने Brahminical practices को, upper caste practices को. So that was in a form a consolidation of their economic prosperity with social prestige. So these are the very quick 3 points that you should write in the introduction. But let us take a very different view as far as sati is concerned. Rather than writing the point, we should hit the core, and the core lies in the debate surrounding sati. So let's question the very idea of debate. According to Tanika Sarkar, those who will be writing this answer as far as history option is concerned, I think they should mention the name of the scholar. So here we are arguing from the very basic point, and the basic point is the debate centering the practice of sati. Tanika Sarkar argues that the debate, public debate that emerged at that point of time was something very new. It was a very new historical development. And the public debate on this particular issue took place between the British officials and the Western educated Indians or the Indian literati. In their British officials ने सलाह मशवरा किया. There was a debate between the British officials and the Indian class जो है, जो educated Indian class है, या फिर जो powerful section of the society. There was an exchange of debate, an exchange of opinion between these sections of the society. Also, British officials के साथ तो debate और ये सलाह मशवरा हुआ भी. At the same time, Indian reformers also argued with their orthodox opponents. Some were in favor that these are inhuman practices and should be abolished, while others were arguing that these are directly it is the practices directly sanctioned by the Hindu religious scriptures and should therefore continue. लेकिन उससे भी ज़्यादा जो important चीज़ है इस debate में is the controversy regarding the nature of companies attitude. Company का attitude अब तक क्या रहा? Non-interference on social arena. So family was a social arena, and in that arena of family or the domain of family, Indians were sovereign. But abhi kya ho raha tha? In the early 19th century, the company was trying to tread into an area it had left to the natives earlier. Domain of family जो है वो छोड़ दिया था कि these are personal laws, इस पे company कोई हस्तक्षेप नहीं करेगी. The company would not interfere in such matters. Now the company decided कि no, enough is enough. We are going to legislate now. We are going to bring laws to abolish such inhuman practices. So first of all, there emerged a public debate. Then the debate took place between the British officials and the Indian literati. Also, the debate took place between the Indian reformers, quote unquote, and the orthodox section of the society. And more importantly, the company sought to tread into an arena which it had left to the natives earlier. So let's proceed. One of the factor responsible for a sudden revival of this practice. So we know from our ancient Indian history that this was a practice that was being followed from since in the time of Vedic times, since the Vedic times. But what happened all of a sudden that we saw a revival of this practice in Bengal, in Calcutta and the region surrounding it during the 19th, 18th and 19th century, along with the advancement that that was brought about by the British rule. So some scholars argue that this system, the Daya system, this is one of the system which allowed greater rights to the woman, Hindu woman. For example, a woman could inherit the property of a deceased husband. Once her husband dies, she could inherit her property, the property of her husband, as well as the property of her father. So this gave her some economic. This provided her with some economic power. But what some scholars argue is that the dominance of the Bhaga system induced the male members of the husband's family to force the widow to commit sati. So an economic aspect or economic motive was always there, as far as some scholars are concerned. Now let's turn towards how the opinion of the Brahmins is, centers around this debate. The British East India Company sought the opinion of the Brahmin Pandits in order to know whether this practice was really sanctioned by the Hindu scriptures or not. So the moment you do so, the moment you ask the opinion of the Hindu Pandits whether it is sanctioned by the scriptures or not, the debate turns upside down. Instead of it being a debate on the condition of the woman, or instead of being an act of to ameliorate the conditions of the woman, the debate all of a sudden turns into a modernist colonial debate on what constitutes a tradition. Women का condition को improve किया जाए या फिर woman centric debate हो, ये तब तक होता जब तक आप इस debate को इस नजरिए से देखते कि whether the women were forced or not, whether banning or abolishing this practice would improve the condition of the woman or not. But no, the British East India Company sought the opinion of the Pandits, Brahmin Pandits. As a result, उनका motive ही different हो गया. The debate is now whether it is the tradition that is sanctioning such things or not. So a woman-centric debate now, okay, it turned into a debate of centering tradition. Let's look at the next important point. And this particular debate provided opportunity to Indian males like Raja Ram Mohan Rai and others to show their mastery over Indian scriptures. यही डिबेट जिस डिबेट के साथ हमने आंसर शुरू किया उसी डिबेट यही डिबेट प्रोवाइड करता है राम मोहन राय जैसे इंडियन एजुकेटेड पर्सनालिटीज को कि वो अपना मास्टरी दिखाए इंडियन स्क्रिप्चर्स पे. See, this is my command over Indian scriptures. This is my understanding of Indian rituals. Now superimposed with the British ideas, liberal ideas. Since liberal ideas started to come to India with printing press and all, now Ram Mohan Rai decided to show his mastery over Indian scriptures. But उनका point of view जो था, it will have some aspect of domination, some aspect of dominance of liberal ideas or Western ideas also. More importantly, what does the debate? एक positive aspect भी बोलते हैं कि the moment you try to understand the nitty-gritties of this practice, that whether this act was voluntary or forced, the moment आप इस आंसर को खोजने की ट्राई करेंगे कि वेदर ये फोर्स था या वॉलंटरी था, ये खुद जाके कूद रही थी, the family members force कर रहे थे, that moment you recognize woman's will. Recognition of the will, personal rights, तब तक it was not very famous, it was not inalienable. So अगर आप खोज रहे हो कि ये voluntary था या forceful था, then you are recognizing that there is something called woman's will. उसका कोई इच्छा भी है. Woman's will, you are also trying to understand that will, or you are recognizing woman as an individual self. Her individual autonomy को आप recognize कर रहे हैं. So this is one positive aspect of the debate. Another thing that comes out from this debate is the notion of status of woman as a crucial signifier of the degree of colonized people's civilizational backwardness. What is the condition of the woman, whether they are forward or backward, whether they enjoy economic and social prosperity, whether they enjoy certain freedom or not, that came to be known as a marker of whether a colonial society is backward or not. So you can easily write these points. Now let's come to the role of Raja Ram Mohan Rai. This is very important. What was his point of view of argument? He argued that this particular practice embodied everything that was new with this new Hinduism. He was not arguing that this is something, he was not arguing as an anti-Hindu, rather he was arguing that it has a lot to do with something called new Hinduism that was an aberration or that was deviating from the original Hinduism or his notion of the real Hinduism. According to him, such a practice did not form part of the Hindu religious system. Hindu religious system का ये कोई part नहीं था, and those who practice idolatry, those who practice polytheism, according to him, it was more of their creation rather than being a practice sanctioned by the Hindu scriptures or being a part of the Hindu religious system. So the role of Raja Ram Mohan Rai will be most important as far as his rational interpretation of tradition is concerned. So ये counter करता है imperial British colonial जो critique होता है Hindu society का, that it was impoverished. Ram Mohan Rai's rational interpretation of tradition at least counters that critique that Hindu society was impoverished. And finally, we come to the criticism of Ram Mohan Rai. Though he argued that these are not sanctioned, but his argument lies entirely on the notion that the desire for sati was built on sakam karma. That is, when a wife throws herself on the fire of her deceased husband, it was more out of her desire to enter heaven, which is quite contradictory or antithetical to the idea of Hindu idea of निष्काम कर्म. निष्काम कर्म जो गीता का मैसेज है, that it is antithetical to that notion of nishkam karma. The desire for heaven made sati less virtuous than that of brahmachari or celibacy. So his criticism or his argument against sati was based on this notion only, rather than refuting it completely. He was relying on the desire aspect of sati to counter it. So we have seen how Western educated Indians, now charged with intellectual stirrings and a reform mentality, they did not reject Indian tradition, outrightly reject नहीं किया उन्होंने, but they sought to change certain unreasonable aspect, जैसे कि unreasonable aspect की जैसे कि sati in this sense, they argued that it was not sanctioned by the scriptures, and it was something that formed a part of new Hinduism. It was a deviation and aberration of the original Hindu practices, which did not conform to their new rationalist image of a glorious Indian past. That's how we should write your answer. I hope it was helpful. We'll meet next time. Till then, thank you very much.